Okay, how weird does it feel to be called someone's fiance? The first time you hear it, you do a double take. Your heart kind of flutters, and before you know it, you go from let's just enjoy the moment to we're planning a fall wedding. That's where Zola comes in. Zola has everything you need to plan your wedding in one place and have fun along the way. From free planning tools like a budget tracker and website to a venue and vendor discovery tool that matches you with your dream team. Everything on Zola is designed to make your wedding journey as easy as possible. And with invites that can be completely customized and a wedding registry packed with gifts you actually want. Zola takes you from save our date to thanks so much without breaking a sweat. From getting engaged to getting married, Zola has everything you need to plan your wedding in one place. Start planning at Zola.com. That's ZOLA.com.
Final show of her tour is December the 8th, so she'll be done in plenty of time for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, well, and I got to remember to call my kid today. Taylor Swift took her dad to a Monday night game, got him a skybox. Hello.
oh, well, there you go, Wilson.
I don't know what those things cost, but let's start saving that babysitting money.
That's right.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Event Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.
526, Harry Chapin, who was big in the early 70s. His great big hit was Cats in the Cradle, which Ricky Skaggs redid a few years ago, and I did not care for it, but Taxi was another big hit of his. 48 degrees outside, going to be a little breezy today, 82 for the high. Folks, I get up in the morning and I get out my little bottle of Propel or my bottle of Gatorade, and I take all these vitamin supplements for my feet and my knees and my back and all this stuff. And sometimes I run across things I can't wait to get to work and tell Paul. Let me give you one of those, shall we? Mm-hmm. We'd heard the story about Red Lobster going bankrupt, and we haven't lost ours yet. But they did more of an in-depth story on it, and that $20 endless shrimp is what did them in. And I know I went in one time for it. They gave us all we can eat and then gave us like another meal's worth to go. And that was just one episode here. So they made that a full-time special in 2023. And that caused problems with lines at the restaurant, and then they couldn't get employees, so people couldn't get tables. And then there's this lady that they interviewed. She went in there and said, I thought it was a pretty good deal. In fact, I went in there one time, I had 108 shrimp.
What? 108?
108 shrimp, Paul. That sucker says endless, that means endless. And there is part of your problem.
Well, and I wouldn't have been able to eat 108 except I was able to, get rid of some of it halfway through my meal.
God.
Oh, my gosh.
So they're trying to figure out how to right that ship and get reorganized.
Well, they got to get rid of that.
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah, they got to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Olive Garden's doing their endless pasta bowl thing now, but but you can't eat a lot of pasta if you're drinking water with it.
No, well, and they're smart because they also give you endless breadsticks and salad.
Yeah.
And people fill up on those.
That water will start swelling up that pasta, and you will pay dearly for it. But, gee, man, 108.
I think I went on a blind date with her one time. I'm going to have the endless shrimp, and I mean endless.
Yeah. Remember last week's Weird Wednesday? What clue did you get on your first date? Mm-hmm. That would be it. That would be it. Wow.
Well, and another proponent of safety that gets overlooked, my partner Paul Mushaben, is now going to have to petition the city council to close the rims on October 7th every year. Had another pickup go over yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. This one was different, though, from what I read. The guy went over, and he kind of just landed in a big crevice, so he couldn't open either door. So people down below in the Bernstead apartments could hear him yelling, but he couldn't get out of the pickup.
My gosh.
It's not bad enough I'm halfway down a cliff, but nobody can hear me.
Yeah, we go up there. We go up there more any other time of the year than we do the 4th of July if it was open.
Right.
I just hate that. In fact, of all the things that we've always pushed. That's the one to me that gets me the most. Is the most iconic, visible tourist attraction that we have in this whole area around Billings is our rim rocks, our rims. We've spent millions of dollars developing it, putting parks up there, pathways, and on a big summer weekend, they close it.
And not only do they close it, where do they tell you to go, Paul?
Out my way and light the fireworks off.
Go out there, see that big 3-foot tall wheat? Yeah, light them off out there.
But just think of this, folks. Think of what your officials in Billings do. I mean, we're supposed to be a conservative state. Think of what they do. And yet, Glacier Park's open, Yellowstone Park's open. You can go camping anywhere you want, have campfires. You could go to Mystic Lake. You can do whatever you want. You could go to the Missouri Breaks. You can go to Fort Peck. You could go everywhere in the United States. They don't close Mount Rushmore.
No.
They don't close the TED. Nothing. But they do close one thing.
Yeah, you're right.
The rim rocks above Billings, and they close it for what, 3 days? Day before, that day, and the day after, or something.
At least that, yeah.
And why? Why? You're still allowed to use barbecues. You're still allowed to use deep fryers. How many deep fryer fires do we have over Thanksgiving and Christmas around here where their deep fryers catch fire?
Too much oil and a lot.
Yeah. Don't close that, do we? But the rim rocks, we close.
No.
God looked down on earth when he developed this whole area, and he said, those needed to be closed on the 4th of July. We have fireworks. Legal fireworks are allowed over Christmas and New Year's. We don't close it down. Just the 4th of July. But since we have a Cinnabon at the airport, it'll still keep people coming in.
Cinnabon and 2 robots that'll bring you your rolls.
That is a freedom that we should not lose.
I agree.
Is that being closed? You cannot, we're going to close. Who in the hell owns that? Is that the fire marshal doing that?
Yes. Yeah.
I've decided I have this anointed power now where if I want, I could close Veterans Park on the 4th of July if I want. I can close the Metro Park parking lot if I want. I can close Two Moon Park. I could close Riverfront Park. Where in the hell does he get his authority?
Don't know when that was built in. Just part of the deal now, Paul.
I've decided I'm closing down the entire rims over the holiday. That's bullcrap.
Well, and nobody wants to spend the time or money to fight it, which is what it would take.
Nobody's got any guts anymore. And don't tell me I don't know what it's like to have a fire close to me. Don't tell me that. You can't tell me that because I've had them.
Yeah.
I've had fires caused by lightning. I've had fires caused by fireworks. I've had fires caused by road accidents. Don't tell me I don't know what fires are like. But to close that area is absurd, especially when nothing else anywhere within 1,000 miles is closed except that.
No, and on top of that, look at the money and the work they did in the last year expanding that trail going west.
Yeah.
You want people to come up there except for 3 days.
Yeah. The 3 that they can use it.
Yeah.
Holidays, everything else.
Get ready for a spooktacular October at the Roadside Event Center. Friday, October 11th, join them for Bingo, a fundraiser for Pack the Place in Pink. Get tickets now for Dueling Pianos on Friday and Saturday, October 18th and 19th. And plan for a Halloween weekend filled with fun. The Blue Cat has fantastic food and drinks. Sushi and sliders on Sundays, Italian night Mondays, prime rib Saturdays, and loaded Bloody Marys all weekend. The Blue Cat Bar and Grill, Northern Avenue in Huntley, just 9 miles east of the Metro Park exit.
Fireworks are banned in the city. Do they close the dope shops over the 4th of July weekend?
No, they don't.
They don't, do they? But you can't sell it in the city, but they don't close them. It's just stupid.
I'm going to respond to this.
That you just can't take people's freedoms away to enjoy their area.
I bet all the homeowners that live underneath went to the city. You would want fireworks coming down on you if you lived there.
I got fireworks all over the place. I just said that.
I got fireworks that land in my yard yard and my house all the time.
I've got hundreds and hundreds of acres of wheat and hay and pasture, and people are out there listening to your officials tell them, you go out there and light them off. We don't have pavement.
Right.
We don't have fire hydrants. None of that kind of stuff like you got.
Now, see, I'm outside the city limits, too, and it's great if you hit where I water.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not always the case.
And if you're going to start closing things down when there is any imminent danger, then you can't just limit it to the 4th of July, and you just can't limit it to a firework. Why don't they close all of the roads on New Year's Eve night? That way, we could eliminate anybody driving drunk and killing someone.
True.
I mean, this is just stupid.
If that's how you're going to approach it.
I've brought this up 1,000 times. In the springtime, folks, when the Yellowstone River is roaring so high and so fast that anything that gets even near the riverbank of that river, you're in big trouble. They don't close it. They don't close it at all. You stick one foot in there, it's going to sweep you down the river, you're going to drown. They don't close it for rafting, kayaking, boating, nothing when it is raging.
They don't close it for people that buy a Walmart inflatable pool and put it out on the
That's
river.
Right. They don't. They don't do it a bit, and it's dangerous. It could kill them instantly. It could it put the lives of our rescuers in jeopardy. They don't close that down.
No.
They don't even look at closing that down. The only time they'll close it is if they think the fish are stressed.
Yeah, that's true. Which never used to happen to fish until recent years.
And give me all the other examples of all of the other state parks, all of the other tourist attractions that are closed on the 4th of July because the state of Montana has legal fireworks. Give me all of them. There are none. There are none. We have a law already about the fireworks in the city. We already have a law on it.
Right.
We have a law. You're not allowed to steal from the cash register at a convenience store at midnight. But we have a law there. But people still do.
Right. Now,
we don't close them.
If we were going to enforce fireworks better, right past the Blue Basket, there's 2 fireworks stands, one on either side of the road. Every single person coming out of there and turning back towards the city of Billings should be pulled over and searched. Because fireworks aren't allowed in town.
Right.
But that's not what they're going to do.
No. The one year they kept it open. Remember that about 5 years ago?
Yeah.
The chief said, no, we're not closing it down. And they had no problems. None. No problems. I'm looking at this picture. There's a picture in the paper today. They had a big whoop-de-doo. They were out there at the Yellowstone County Detention Center because they're going to expand the jail. And anybody was out there yesterday. It's a photo shoot. And you got the county commissioner standing there, and you got a couple guys there, and they all put on fluorescent green jackets. Why? You're not going to do a damn thing. You're not part of the construct. They all got their bright green jackets, just for pictures. I see our police chief's there. Good to see him up and moving about again. They got the mayor there. The county commissioners are there, which is great. Linder's there, so they're going to build that. And
I was looking, the one story I saw, I was looking at what the additional capacity is going to be, and I couldn't find that.
They're going to house offenders who pose a risk to public safety but have not been charged with crimes severe enough to land time in the detention facility. So we cannot have them on the street because they're a risk to the public, but not severe enough to put them in the other one.
Meaning right now, those folks are out walking around.
Yeah, that's right. Just like here in the U.S., all those sex offenders, convicted murders all came across the border. But cram them in there. Harry, keep the change.
Hunter got forced up a tree in the Gallatin Range by a charging sow.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Happened about 2:08 just south of the Hidden Lake complex near Big Sky. Hunter called 911 to report being charged by a sow grizzly, 2 cubs. Hunter reportedly shot the sow with the pistol before climbing the tree. Hunter stayed in the tree while the wounded bear remained in the area. Smart fella. Fish, Wildlife, and Parks helicopter showed up to assist the hunter, dispatched the wounded grizzly. Reminder to hunters from the sheriff. Carry bear spray. Hunt in groups if possible. Avoid areas where bear sign is present. And always have a communication device to call for help. Well, and I had a buddy that was a pretty voracious bear hunter, and I'm talking paying thousands of dollars to hunt them in Canada and everything else. Oh, yeah. He said, Wilson, you got to go with me. I said, where? He goes, to go hunt a bear. I said, no, thanks.
They hunt you back.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Nothing like throwing a chunk of bear on the barbecue and... Oh, man. Well, there's all kinds of stuff in the news today. Big one's a hurricane heading towards Tampa Bay, that area. FEMA's already broke out of money. And by the way, thought of this yesterday while I'm out there driving around checking my waters. Does anybody have any idea who is at the White House right now? Who in the hell do we have at the White House? We have no one, folks, at the White House. Nobody's there. It's been empty for months. They went back here a couple weeks ago and went to the Situation Room after Iran attacked Israel. They were there for 2 hours or something, probably sent out for Red Lobster or something. Who knows? There's nobody there. Nobody's occupying our main house in the country that makes all the decisions. No one is there. Kamala's on the road doing her campaign thing. Joe Biden's in Delaware. He's at the beach. He's been spending all his time in his Delaware home and out there on the beach. He was on the beach while Israel was being attacked. Who is at the White House? The White House is empty. We have a White House chef and a White House this and a White. They don't ever have full cabinet meetings. No one. Who in the hell's running our country now? We have no idea. Nobody's there. So we have Florida's Gulf Coast. They're bracing for another one, Hurricane Milton. They're expecting massive storm surge. Milton's winds right now in the Atlantic have reached speeds of 190 miles an hour. It's a big one. It's heading towards the Tampa Bay region. And everybody's thinking, oh, another one. Tampa Bay, folks, Tampa and Tampa Bay have not been hit by a major hurricane since 1921.
That's pretty surprising.
Especially where they're at. 1921. The whole west coast of Florida is under a warning. It was downgraded early this morning. It's down to a Category 4 now. Could come ashore sometime tomorrow. Scientists expect a weekend more before it hits landfall. There's 3 million residents down in the Tampa area. Storm surge, that's what they're worried about. Think about it is, folks, in these storms, just like we get out, Mother Nature always wins. The storms always win. You can't do anything about it. Steady stream of vehicles headed north out of the Florida region towards the Panhandle and other places to get out of there. Inland, they'll be better off than coastal regions. So despite what you may have heard or seen, Tampa has not had one since 1921. And there was an article today about scientists said, despite what you're hearing, hurricanes are not getting stronger and bigger. They're just not. That's all political narrative to have you buy into them spending trillions of your dollars to control the weather. We cannot control the weather, folks. We just can't do it. We can't control the weather. And FEMA administrator was out yesterday, continues to push back. The FEMA administrator said all these claims about being broke and not having the money and spending at this place and this place are all false. Well, it's not false. That's all political spin again, because all you have to do is go and look up the money that they have spent in the budget, and you can see it. You can see it, where it went. And FEMA, Department of Homeland Security, these are all headlines from newspapers all across the country over the past year. Homeland Security announces $380 million in additional funding to communities that are taking illegal immigrants. Department of Homeland Security announces distribution of $77 million in congressional funding for communities receiving migrants. This was later on. 2 months later, Department of Homeland Security, distribution of another $12 million in funding. FEMA awards $110 million to the Emergency Food and Shelter Program to assist illegal immigrants. Politico said New York City to get $104.6 million from FEMA for asylum seekers in New York City. Remember, they were raising hell because they were getting all those illegals up there. Here's another one. Department of Homeland Security announces $300 million in direct funding to communities receiving illegals and $340 million for a new competitive awards process, whatever that is. $1.2 billion just in those. The money trail is there, but it's a political year. Political year. Not to mention the billions going to Ukraine and the billions going to Israel. So now they're getting a second one down there. Northern Lights, they were out last night. If you had a chance, you could see them last night.
Or you can go to Facebook and see 700 pictures in case you missed one.
Oh, is there a bunch of them there?
Yes, there are.
Yeah. Well, you better start enjoying yourself, folks. Try to win that Flakes trip or something, because you're not going to like this headline.
Uh-oh.
Don't expect human life expectancy to grow much more, according to researchers. You know why, Mark? How many shrimp did that lady eat?
108 in 4 hours.
That's why.
Right.
That's the headline today. A new study suggests that humanity is hitting the upper limit of life expectancy. Advances in medical technology and genetic research are not translating into jumps in your lifespan, according to researchers. They found shrinking longevity increases in countries that had the longest living populations. Experts said it's likely that the number of centenarians will grow ahead, but that's only because of the population growth.
Right.
The doctors and scientists in the study said we have to recognize there's a limit, reassess assumptions about when people should retire and how much money they'll need to live out their lives. Jay Olshansky, University of Illinois, Chicago researcher. It's published in the journal Nature Aging. Retirement, folks, I've always said this, retirement is not an age. Retirement is a level. That's when you can retire, not an age. You just don't get to 62 and say, okay, it's time to retire. No, you can't.
Get ready for a spooktacular October at the Roadside Event Center. Friday, October 11th, join them for Bingo, a fundraiser for Pack the Place in Pink. Get tickets now for Dueling Pianos on Friday and Saturday, October 18th and 19th. And plan for a Halloween weekend filled with fun. The Blue Cat has fantastic food and drinks. Sushi and sliders on Sundays, Italian night Mondays, prime rib Saturdays, and loaded Bloody Marys all weekend. The Blue Cat Bar and Grill, Northern Avenue in Huntley, just 9 miles east of the Metro Park exit.
Life expectancy is an estimate of the average number of years that a baby born in a given year might expect to live, assuming death rates hold constant. It's one of the world's most important health measures, but it's imperfect. The estimate can't account for pandemics, miracle cures, other developments that might kill and or save millions. They tracked life expectancy estimates for the years 1990 to 2019. They focused on 8 of the places in the world where people live the longest. The United States, folks, is not on that list. We are one of the most unhealthy nations now in the world. And all you have to do is look at Americans. Where do people live the longest? Australia, France, Hong Kong, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Spain, and Switzerland. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those places eat pets. So I'd throw that in there. The U.S. doesn't even rank. You want to know about how bad we are here? And we have the best medicine, doctors, medical facilities anywhere in the world. We led the world in all these medical breakthroughs. The United States doesn't rank even in the top 40. We're not even in the top 40 because we're a bunch of pigs now in the way we live our lives. Women continue to live longer than men. You know why, Mark? Tell everybody why, folks. Mark knows this.
Because men want to die first.
Thank you. But now at a slowing pace, researchers found in 1990, the average amount of improvement was about 2.5 years per decade. But when we hit 2010, the year of improvement was only 1.5 years. And now, because of how we take care of our bodies and what we do to ourselves, now it's almost zero. We're at almost zero of adding years to our life. U.S. is more problematic than others because of these reasons. Number 1, obesity. Yep, we are a fat world here in the U.S. Obesity, inequities that make it hard for some to get medical care. I don't know if I buy that. Shootings, drug overdoses. Big one. Look how many people we're killing with fentanyl now. And, you know, we have no one in the White House. They could have stopped that immediately. In one calculation, the researchers estimated what would happen in all 9 places if all deaths before age 50 were limited. And still, the increase was only 1.5 years. The study suggests that there just is a limit on how long most people can live, and we've about hit it. We are squeezing less and less life out of these life-extending technologies that we have. The reason, just natural aging gets in the way. 2% of all Americans will make it to 100. All right? 2% of you out there will make it to 100. 5% in Japan. 9 9% in Hong Kong. By the way, those two places, they eat pets. They eat better than we do. They eat fish, a lot of stuff like that. But it's likely the ranks of centenarians will grow in decades ahead, but that's only because the population has grown so much. And when you have 2%, obviously, basic math, you're going to have more. Women make it to 100 more than men do. And why is that, Mark?
Because men want to die.
That's it. But we've pretty much peaked. We've plateaued, as they say, on adding life expectancy. Now, that's not saying down the road they won't come up with something that will eliminate things that take people's lives. Some miracle drug they find out that would attack cancer cells or... but a lot of these problems are all self-induced that they talk. They're all self-induced. Obesity, drugs, blah, blah, this, that. They're just self-induced problems. So if you take anything from this, you can take it from this. Or take this away from it is that you want to live longer, take better care of yourself. Eliminate these things.
It sounds easy.
Yeah, but everybody always wants to live longer when they get to the end and they find out that they're not going to live longer.
Yeah, now give me the good drugs. You know what? Now I'm going to quit smoking.
But by then it's too late.
Right.
You enjoyed yourself early on, but now you're getting to the end of the life, you're paying for those mistakes. So that's just what they said. Only 4 weeks from Election Day. The ads are going to keep coming, folks. They're putting millions and millions more. I wish I could get Kaylee Schaaf to call the radio station. She's a lifelong Republican. She's doing ads for Jon Tester now. And I got a question for her. She's got an ad in here. I'm voting for Jon Tester, and I'm a lifelong Republican. Big full-page ad today, because we don't need the government telling us what to do with our bodies. Okay, then let me ask you this. If you, Kaylee, please call. I want to know, because you look like a pretty young gal anyway. If you are a lifelong Republican, lifelong, been voting for, except now she's voting for Jon. If you're lifelong, that means you voted for Governor Gianforte, you voted for Matt Rosendale, you voted for Steve Daines, you voted for Donald Trump, and all of them in your voting era where you have been able to vote, all of them were all pro-life.
That's a good point.
They were all pro-life. All of them. You've been voting for all of them all these years, according to your ad, because you are a lifelong Republican. They always chose life over death. All of them. Every one of them. All the Republicans that you have ever voted for have all been that way. But why now? Why are you abandoning all those principles that you voted for all those years? Only this time you don't like the guy that thinks we should do everything we can to save the life of a baby. I want to ask her that question. Why now? I'm voting for Donald Trump. Donald Trump gave states the right to make their own laws.
But never gets credit for that.
Right. You voted for him. If you're a lifelong Republican like your ad says, and you haven't voted much because you're not that old, but that means you voted for all of them. You're from Glasgow, so you had to vote on our eastern side. Are you voting for Governor Gianforte again? Are you voting for Troy Downing again? Because he's running and he's in your section here. And I know they're all pro-life. If you're a lifelong Republican. Nope. Voting for Jon Tester. I don't know how much people get paid to do these ads or where they find them, but all those people that I just mentioned, they didn't want the government to mandate and to force you to get a COVID-19 shot.
No.
They all wanted that person to be able to make their own medical decision. Lifelong Republican, except for this time. Except for this time. Oh well. And because we don't have Ben Affleck and we don't have Bruce Willis anymore, we're sending a test spacecraft on its way to an asteroid in a Save the Earth test. Now, weren't those two in the movie where they had to go up and kill an asteroid or something?
Armageddon. And then there was another one with Robert Duvall. He went up.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
How'd he do?
He didn't make it back.
Didn't he?
No.
Did he save the world, though?
He saved part of it. He didn't get the whole asteroid obliterated, so part of it hit the Earth.
Okay, well, They blasted one off yesterday. It's on a 2-year journey to a small, harmless asteroid. It was rammed by NASA 2 years ago in a dress rehearsal for the day that a killer space rock will threaten Earth. It's an amazing day, according to the Space Agency director in Germany, Josef Aschenbacher. Scientists are eager to examine the impact in the aftermath, see if it changes its course needed to safeguard the Earth in the future. The more we can learn now, the more important a planning for future deflection mission could be needed, according to University of Maryland astronomer. They want to know whether DART, that's what they call it, the DART, short for Double Asteroid Redirection Test, left a crater or perhaps reshaped the asteroid because they hit it once before. Isn't that funny, folks? We can send a little dinky ship millions and millions of miles away and hit an asteroid that's 100 feet wide, and you can't get your letter to show up at the right address or a package. They saw it when the last one hit. It left a debris trail that extended for thousands of miles into space for months. Now, some of that debris could still be hanging around the asteroid, which would pose a threat to this new one going up there. They don't know what the environment is like around it. This mission costs $400 million. They have to swing this craft by Mars so they can get a gravity boost. The asteroid is 120 million miles away from Earth. Before the impact, last time it circled for a while, but neither one of these asteroids that they're going after poses a threat to Earth. Asteroids primarily orbit the Sun between Mars and Jupiter in what is known as the main asteroid belt, where millions of them reside. They become near-Earth objects when they're knocked out of the belt and into our neck of the woods. These are leftovers from the solar system's formation 4.6 billion years ago. NASA said there are 36,000 asteroids in that area. Some are comets, but more than 2,400 of them are considered potentially dangerous to Earth. So there you go. And if you've seen the movies, folks, if one of them gets close to us down here and has our bullseye on it, it doesn't matter what day you retire, and it doesn't matter how many shrimp you eat.
Okay, you didn't see Deep Impact.
No.
They've been building tunnels.
Oh, have they?
Yes, in Kansas.
Well, I'll be a son of a gun.
They've got all the seeds for every product ever planted. They've got food enough to last years down there, but it's a selective system. So you have to be the right ethnicity and that kind of stuff to be selected to go to the tunnels.
Folks, and that's why if you get seat 2C on the airplane when we're flying over Kansas, heading down towards Mexico, Mark will be able to say, something very interesting about Kansas. That's where they have the tunnels.
You don't even have to watch this movie. I can just tell you what happened.
There
It saves
you
you
go.
2.5 hours.
Lucky devils,
I
aren't they?
know.
Lucky devils. So anyway, that's the big test. And I know when it'll hit. It'll hit when I finally have a great hay crop and wheat crop all in the same year.
Oh, but Paul.
That's when it'll hit.
That's so far down the road.
I know. You got that right.
We're going to be here forever.
That's right. One day, someday, we're going to hit it.
That's right. First news coming up, 6:14.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Events Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.